redefines the Bronx community. Bronx Post, changing the reality, changing the narrative. For businesses, politicians, and government agencies, we offer targeted advertising solutions that drive results. Amplify your message. Reach the heart of the Bronx and beyond. Our platform connects you to the community. Learn more. Email info@bronxpost.com or call 718-892-5555. Visit www.bronxpost.com for breaking news and updates.
Keep watching The Politics every Friday, 12 p.m. Eastern Time on New York Parrot TV, the voice for humanity.
Welcome to Talking Politics. My name is Robert Press. I am a reporter. As you can see by my official New York City press card, I write for the Bronx Post and the Parkchester Times, both like this show, a part of Parrot Media Corporation. I also contribute to the Co-op City News, have a blog at www.100%.blogspot.com, where you'll see more that from this show and current events, among other things. I also have Facebook pages, 100%, and what is going on in your local community board. The views expressed on this show are that of the host, any guest, or anyone commenting at the bottom of the screen, and not necessarily that of Parrot Media Corporation. Let's get to a quick weather report. Today, Friday, the high should be about 35. Tomorrow, Saturday, 39. Going into Saturday night, though, snow should be starting to fall with about an inch overnight. It'll be about 33 on Sunday and 30 on Monday. Now, I feel a little cold here, so let me see what the temperature here is. What is that, 20 degrees? Oh, that's Celsius. Oh, it's okay, so it's about 64 in here. That's okay, good. I don't need the thermometer. Before I introduce my guest, Anthony Rivieccio, do I have Anthony with me here? I want to go into a little national news. Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu signaled Monday that Israel and Hamas are shortly expected to move into the second phase of the ceasefire. I see Anthony's with me. One hostage body remains in Gaza. Netanyahu said the second phase could begin by the end of December and would include disarming Hamas, the withdrawal of Israeli troops from Gaza, and the establishment of an international security force. Hamas is open to discussing freezing or storing its weapons, but the thorny question of who will lead Palestine territories still lies ahead. Now, Benjamin Netanyahu, the Israeli prime minister, will travel to the U.S. to meet with President Trump on December 29th to discuss future plans in Gaza. It's Netanyahu's fifth trip to the United States since Trump returned to office, but his first since the ceasefire was struck. And I wonder if he'll be stopping in New York to see the inauguration of the new mayor. Now, in the Ukraine, there's no quick end to the war there, which has hit a stalemate on ownership of certain lands. President Donald Trump said U.S. forces seized an oil tanker Wednesday near the Venezuelan coastline, a significant escalation in the U.S. pressure campaign against Venezuelan President Nicolas Maduro and his country's oil-dependent economy. Can we bring Anthony back on? Anthony, are you with me still?
I don't know.
Okay, can we bring him back on? I wanted any quick comments on what's happening in the world.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Well, in regards to your first comment, in regards to Hamas, it immediately reminds me of the old three-card Monte games that they played on Fordham Road, right? Where is the peanut? Let's find the peanut, swing around the circle, right? So that's all Hamas is doing. It's just a shame that we just keep following the merry-go-round instead of just taking out the gun like we were ready to do in Venezuela yesterday. In regards to your second comment, what were you talking about again?
the war in Ukraine, and it looks like Ukraine is going to have to give up some of its territory to Russia to appease them, much like the old World War II with the appeasement of Hitler.
Yeah, you're right. It looks like, as Donald Trump said the other day, Ukraine has been losing the war since day one. But sadly, now they're going to carve and slice up Ukraine. So that will be the new foreign relations motto that we'll be dealing with in the future.
And the third part was Venezuela, which you made a quick comment on. Do you think we're going to go into Venezuela for the oil?
Do I think we're going to go in? If we go in, if you saw the video yesterday, then we better learn how to salsa, right? Because the Venezuelan president was doing some salsa while he was talking about President Trump yesterday, right?
All right, let's move on to some local news then. Randy Mastro, who was the deputy mayor to Eric Adams, has resigned as of the taking over of January 1st, 2026. He's basically no need has done so. Maestro wrote, we will be leaving city government together, him and Eric Adams. Maestro is 69. He served as deputy mayor under Rudy Giuliani and was appointed to the same post by Adams in March. The ex-prosecutor made no secret of his disdain for Mandani's Democratic Socialist leanings. He thanked Adams for a second shot in city government. Any comments about Randy Mastro?
No, it is not unusual for the prior administration to step down, while the new one comes in. He could have resigned the day after the election. So from that point of view, I think he did the right thing at the right time.
And there were 179 people on the immediate fire list, but 20 of them seem to be civil service employees who can't be fired. So Mandani has to work with them. Now, we have some things going on here in the Bronx with congressional races. It appears that Richie Torres has another challenger, as Amanda Septimo has entered the race against Richie Torres. Any comments on this race?
Well, it'd be unfair if you didn't talk about it in its totality. I understand now he has 4 challenges. I understand a 4th one came out. He declares himself as an independent, came out this morning and announced. So as of now, Richie now has 4 challenges.
Well, Septimo, though, is looking for Mandami's, soon-to-be Mayor Mandami's endorsement. It appears that on Wednesday, Mandami endorsed City Controller Brad Lander in his congressional bid in New York 10. Last month, Mandami showed up also at a DSA meeting to discourage Chiachi, a city council member, from running against Hakeem Jeffries. Any comments, though, about these so-called almost endorsements or whatever you want to call them? Because in this race with Richie Torres, Michael Blake, who Mandami visited his church, 2 weeks ago? So who is he going to pick? Is Septimo?
I really believe, based on reporting, and I believe it was from Politico, that wrote about 2 days ago what happened with Mandami's disaster in Somos. Mm-hmm. Supposedly, he tried to set up a meeting with the county chairs and the muckety-mucks of New York City, asking those people not to pick a city council leader until he could look at the field and then come up with his own recommendations. And of course, both the city council and all of the unions that were asked to defer all went forward. And it was analyzed in the Politico magazine by pretty much saying he has no political backdoor experience. Mm-hmm. And that is going to be his problem going forward.
That was one of my later articles here about the speaker's race, that days after the November win. He, like you said, he went and tried to make a slow internal race for the New York City Council speaker. Julie Menon, though, unfortunately for Mandami, got the backing of a supermajority of 36 members back then one more. And she announced that she had also the 5 county leaders, Democratic county leaders, as you say. So it's apparent that he's having problems. He's made nice with Donald Trump, but we'll see how long that lasts. And Kathy Hochul endorsed Mandami for mayor, but he has yet to endorse her for governor. Now, as far as the governor's race, it appears that on the Republican side, there should be a primary, as Nassau County Executive Bruce Blakeman, who ended the race for New York governor on Tuesday. It's a major snag in Congresswoman Elias Stefanik's efforts to secure the Republican backing in her challenge to Democrat Governor Kathy Hochul. It's a primary to, the Long Island is a big voting bloc, which Blakeman should be able to get, and she's upstate. Now, what do you think is going to happen here if there's a Republican primary? Because Lee Zeldin had 4 candidates, he was in a 4-candidate primary and came within 6 points of Kathy Hochul. Is a primary good for the Republicans, or is it bad?
Well, that's a semi-loaded question. Primaries are always good because you want to have as much democracy in the process as possible. Will it help the Republicans to have a primary? I actually think it might, because unbeknownst to most, I don't think I'm going to call her Miss Elsie. It's not as popular as a lot of people here in the city think. So she might need a primary just to get out her goals and her wishes and her ambitions. Now,
polls, though, show Stephanie crushing Blakeman in a hypothetical matchup, with him receiving less support than Congressman Michael Lawler, who has since withdrawn from the governor's race. So if that makes any difference. Now, state Senate, there's a problem in the state Senate right now, because the state Senate majority leader, Andrea Stewart Cousins, wants to remain the leader of the Senate in 2027 and beyond. The rules governing her chamber are going to have to change. She's now the temporary president, which was the official title empowering Stewart Cousins to call the shots in the Senate since 2019. The rules also restrict committee chairs to serving 8 years consecutively, which means our friend Gustavo Rivera would be out of his seat also. Theoretically, it impacts education, health, wagering, investigations, finance, and labor committees after 2026. Now, ask about the prospect of shaking up leadership committees, and this was all done back in 2000 and after the 2009 Senate coup. If you remember, Pedro Espada became the temporary president of the Senate because it was in 2017, when the Democrats were in the minority, Stewart Cousins voted in favor of a bill imposing an 8-year term limit for leadership committees and chairs in both chambers. Now, the question is what happens if they don't change the rules? Who becomes the next temporary president of the state Senate majority?
Get ready for Madame Putin.
Well, let me just say there are 2 possibilities. If the decision was based solely on attorneys with the longest tenure in the chamber, Senator Shelley Mayer, who was just recently, she's from Rye, she was just recently introduced, and our friend Louis Sepulveda would be considered frontrunners, with the latter's name coming up in conversations with Albany insiders. Could you imagine Louis Sepulveda, my good friend Louis Sepulveda, as the president pro tem of the state Senate?
I would be very surprised if a man who I think on the surface is a good man, but according to reports is a lot less of a good man, would be in that position. But it wouldn't surprise me, as you indicated before. We had Pedro Espada, right? So we can have Pedro, if we can have Mr. Silver. Remember Mr. Silver?
Yes. And
right? So why not have somebody that beats up ladies? Why not?
What did our good friend Jose Rivera say when Mr. Silva was seated next to him? Why are you putting this man next to me? Okay, remember that? We're going to have to go to a break now, Tony. We're at a halfway point. And we're going to come back with one of your favorite topics, cannabis, a new head there, and the problems they're having with the cannabis control. So let's go to a commercial, Mr. Producer.
Imagine a media platform that reshapes the conversation, empowers your voice, and redefines the Bronx community. Bronx Post, changing the reality, changing the narrative. For businesses, politicians, and government agencies, we offer targeted advertising solutions that drive results. Amplify your message. Reach the heart of the Bronx and beyond. Our platform connects you to the community. Learn more. Email info@bronxpost.com or call 718-892-5555. Visit www.bronxpost.com for breaking news and updates. Bronx Post, changing the reality, changing the narrative.
Welcome back to the show. My guest is Anthony Rivieccio. We're going to go into one of his favorite topics, cannabis, the new name for marijuana, to make it.
Should I go get mine?
What?
Should I go get mine?
No.
I think it's very important that people should know the difference between a half ounce and an ounce. You don't think
I have a story for you that involves Gustavo Rivera at the end of this.
Cannabis? Okay,
Yep.
Go ahead.
Okay, it appears that the acting head of the embattled state cannabis regulatory is out this week at the request of Governor Kathy Hochul amid struggles to enforce a crackdown on unlicensed marijuana business activities. The State Office of Cannabis Management, OCM, acting executive director Felicia Reed, who has been running the agency since June of 2024, was forced to step down as a result of the agency's handling of its enforcement against Omnium, including a product recall, which they are dropping, according to a statement from the governor. Have you ever tried this Omnium?
No, I have not.
Because I know you're a frequent smoker of cannabis now that it's legal, and
I was a freaking smoker when it wasn't legal.
I didn't want to say that. Now the cannabis market holds enormous potential, creates jobs, generates revenue.
Oh please! Let's call the cannabis. Let's. You know what? You want to use me as an example for cannabis? Then let's go all the way with it. Right? Where do I get mine? Right? I get mine the same place I got it for the last 40 years. You make the phone call. You can either have it delivered or not. If you have it delivered, it still doesn't cost you any extra money, by the way. And there's no state tax. So I get quality stuff at 20% automatic discount than walking into one of those stores where you're claiming they're creating jobs.
And this is the problem they're having with the state cannabis authority, OCM. Now, they're supposed to be tracking.
Are you sure the problem isn't maybe they're trying too much of their own product?
No. They're supposed to be doing a seed to sale cannabis tracking system, which aims to track the inventory and prevent illegal trafficking of products from other states. And it's set to launch December 17th. But retailers with the Cannabis Association of New York, the CANI, say they're out of time and resources to meet the deadline.
Bob, and I apologize. This is no different than what you just mentioned earlier on the show, right? Why did we get that Venezuelan tanker? Why did we get it? According to Donald Trump, it wasn't because of the oil.
No, they were looking for contraband fentanyl.
Exactly. So does it surprise you that a legal shop, now deemed legal, is now not going to use their resources for illegal products? Why does that shock everybody so much?
It's been delayed several months following the merger of the companies BioTrack and Metric which are supposed to be the state is facing litigation now because the system is not in place as required by the state cannabis law.
You know what I think, Bob? Have you heard what the state?
Let me finish.
Have you heard what the state did recently with the home care attendants? I think Governor Hochul wants to unionize it.
Well, this company Metric has made changes since the merger, including products requiring ID tags that cost 10 cents each. And a cannabis farmer, Zach Zarikis from Rochester, said the fee is costing thousands of dollars and could put him out of business.
Does it come with a lighter?
Hold on. I literally sent an email to the Office of Cannabis Management Compliance Department. He said, we want to stay compliant. We're here for it. We don't have the capital to make this level of investment right now. Metric said the 10-cent pricing fee structure were established with state regulators and can vary by market based on program requirements. Now, it's a problem. Now, this is going to be a big problem. And, you know, I asked State Senator Gustavo Rivera months ago, what is the test if a person, let's say you get in a car, Anthony, like you say, you smoke. Let's say you get in a car and you're stopped by a cop who smells the smell of marijuana on you and says, well, how does he know if you're intoxicated or not? And I said to State Senator Gustavo Rivera, what is the test to test someone if they're intoxicated on marijuana, on cannabis or not? And he said, we don't have one. You know, so, and
tell him to get one. Tell him to come to Anthony's house.
So he said that, well, they try and test them just like if a person is drunk. But there's no breathalyzer test for cannabis, is there?
You know what you should tell your state senator?
He's not my state senator.
As we speak, I heard from one of his constituents from Van Ness, very close to you. And according to this citizen, there are robberies taking place right now in Van Ness.
Mm-hmm.
Right now.
That's going on, you're correct.
So how come nobody in the Van Ness area, such as the city council, such as the state assembly, such as Senator Gustavo Rivera, isn't doing anything about the high crime rates in Van Ness?
Well, let me get back
but
to.
You want to talk about cannabis? Is that because everybody's too high to work?
No. I mean, you know, so if we understand there is
do you realize that if we use this money the right way, then we can get everything Madami has asked for, right? Everything, right? Instead of doing stupid things like creating marijuana houses, we can have free universal child care tomorrow. With the marijuana money.
Tony, as I told you, State Senator Gustavo Rivera said to me that he would get me the best stuff. And you know what? I'm going to give him a call. He said to, let him know.
Sounds like you lied because you look sober to me.
Well, I'm going to tell him, get me the legal limit of the best stuff to smoke so I can hand it to you. And he could put it in a potato chip bag for me.
Now it's legal. It doesn't have to put it in a potato chip bag.
Well, let's go into some more politics. Catherine Garcia, top aide to Governor Kathy Hochul, has been named the next executive director of the Port Authority of New York, New Jersey. Jackie Bray, the Commissioner of State Division of Homeland Security Emergency Services, will replace Garcia as Director of State Operations. Remember Catherine Garcia? She ran for mayor against Eric Adams. I think she would have made a great mayor. What about you?
Credible. I mean, a credible opponent, credible challenger. I don't know if I could say she would have, done better or worse. I'd have to know more about. I would have had to know more about her platform.
Okay. New York City Council Speaker Adrienne Adams will block a proposed law to ban parking near intersections of visibility improving street design, also known as daylighting, from coming to a vote, according to advocates who accuse the top city lawmaker of stifling the common sense safety design. Any comments on daylighting of the intersections?
No.
Because it seems since Speaker Adams is has more of a suburban district, that this would take away a lot of parking spaces in her district. So that could be why she's against it. Mayor Eric Adams is dropping a new twist into the heated debate over the city's horse carriage industry by ordering that some of the steeds deployed in Central Park undergo medical exams from an outside veterinarian who has spoken at events hosted by an anti-carriage group. Any comments on the horse carriage deal?
You know, the horse carriage industry is now, sadly, a losing money-making industry. So on that note, let me bring up something for just one moment, if I might. I think we just found out the first destruction of this 3 casino situation that you've been talking about. We now know with Queens, the New York Mets are now history, right? We now know that we're blowing up the team, not because they suck, because the batting lineup has been one of the best batting lineups of all of last year. The Mets went downhill because of their bullpen and their pitching. But we decided to blow up that whole lineup because now Steve Cohen has no money, right? He's got all his money tied into the hotel. He's got a community reinvestment plan of $5 billion that he's now mandated to do, right? So sadly, Pete Alonso can't get his money. Sadly, Edwin Diaz can't get his money, right? Sadly, Brandon Nemo can't get his money.
Okay,
Pretty soon, they don't have to worry about Lindor because he's probably packing as we speak.
So let me ask you then, what about Bally's then? Okay, it's going to cost a lot of money to build Bally's. How is Mr. Kim going to be building Bally's if he's, he's got his Chicago place is hurting, Atlantic City is hurting. How is he building the Bally's casino?
Oh, very easy. Very easy. If anybody's not aware, we now know that a couple of private equity companies have now put money into the hotel. To that casino. So that casino is now owned by private equity.
So that means since it's past city planning and past the local community board, which really just is advisory, and if Bally's doesn't make it or doesn't even get built, what else can be built there? Anything. You can wind up with a 5,000.
I want my apartment there because I understand you'll have great waterfront views. So once they put up that affordable housing, they should charge top dollar for that because they're going to have one of the best views in the Bronx.
Yep. Well, so I guess Mr. Joseph Kane and George Havernack aren't going to have to be worried about their casino and hotel over there. So they'll have wonderful housing there. Are we correct?
Housing. I don't know about it being wonderful.
But all right. Well, I missed this one before while we were talking about cannabis. The Glen Cove City Council has unanimously approved a law that bans smoking marijuana or vaping in public spaces, restricting marijuana consumption and a range of public areas, and a law more restrictive than rules in neighboring municipalities. Have you been to Glen Cove lately?
I used to live in Glen Cove when I was a kid. Glen Cove is next to New City, New York.
And since we're getting close to the end of our show here, it appears that my good friend Jeffrey Dinowitz has a challenger. Democrat Morgan Evers has launched a primary campaign against the 16-term incumbent Jeffrey Dinowitz in the Bronx. I think I have a unique lens on affordability right now. Evers said, "I'm a teacher. My husband's a teacher. Wages are very stagnant, but prices are going up, up, and up." She's been part of a group that what is. Can you hear me, Anthony? She's been part of a group that Unity. Now, Dinowitz has stated and made in a statement pointing to the victories in his recent years, such as the launch of a pandemic-era eviction moratorium. Any comments on this, since you have a close involvement with Unity Democrats, which Morgan Evers is a part of, and you're also very friendly with Jeffrey Dinowitz and his Ben Franklin Club.
You know what, Bob? Let me put some clarity on that to give you my overall feeling. You may or may not know that yesterday Community Board 7 had their traditional Christmas lighting on Marshallou Parkway. Of course, they had schools that came in, the children sung songs, and of course, all of the muckety mucks came and made speeches.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think I saw Miss Evans there. I don't think I saw the president of Unity, who lives in Norwood, there. I did see Eric Dinowitz there. I did see Jeffrey Dinowitz there. And I do believe I might have seen 2 more people from his club, the Ben Franklin Club, which, by the way, doesn't represent Norwood, but at the Christmas party. So I don't know. She doesn't feel the need to put out her issues to the community and to enjoy our community during the most holiest time of the year. And she just thinks she can go to Williamsbridge Oval, go hand out a free turkey and say, I represent the area. I think both her and Unity got a lot of work to do.
Well, who else was there at the lighting? Was Borough President Gibson there?
No, she was not there, but your assemblyman was there, Mr. John Sakaro.
What about State Senator Gustavo Rivera?
He was not there.
That's his district, right?
Correct.
Well, all right. I'm going to close with this now.
But understand, he might have been shopping around for your request.
He's not my senator. He's on the other side of the street from me. I have the wonderful Natalia Fernandez as my state senator.
Okay.
All right, and we'll close on this because Mayor-elect Zohan Madami has said, I'm not going to go into Gracie Mansion, but he's decided he's going to give up his $2,300 rent-stabilized pad in Astoria and officially moving into Gracie Mansion on the Upper East Side. He announced on Instagram Monday.
Letitia James. They'll be glad to move out because a new relative will move in.
And Madami and his wife, Rama.
As you're closing the show, then I got to ask the host the question. I understand that you took a vote last week on this show. You said, let's see if we want Mr. Rivieccio on this show. Let's take a vote. Let's take a vote on the 100% website. Let's take a vote on the Northwest Bronx Democrats website. I happen to check those numbers. I didn't see not one no.
Not one. You're right. People want you to be the co-host.
When am I getting a call from the producer? When am I getting my first commission check? What's going on here?
We'll have to talk after the show with the producer or at a different time on that.
No, you talk after the show. You can talk to my agent.
Okay, Anthony. With that, we're going to close the show. And thank Anthony for coming on again. And hopefully we'll have him as a recurring host. He'll be my co-host.
And I'll make sure I cover the legal marijuana.
And thank you for watching.
Theories. It's important to test the theories. You can't talk,
Keep watching The Politics every Friday, 12 p.m. Eastern Time on New York Parrot TV, the voice for humanity.